Adventure in Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Fishnets, mini skirts, my lipstick and leather. Pop on the metal chicks, keep getting better. Push a bras, jean jackets, lace. Dark mascara, tattoos on my face. Fishnets, mini skirts, my lipstick and leather. Pop on the metal chicks, keep getting better. Push a bras, jean jackets, lace.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited about our next guest because anybody that knows me knows that I'm an old school thrash metalhead, and this band is freaking awesome. It's like if, I don't know, it's almost like to me if Nuclear Assault and DRI had a baby, this is the band. So let's welcome to the show, Supermodel Taxidermy. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. So, yeah, I was checking out your newest music because you have the new album, At What Cost, dropping on May 31st this month, end of this month. And, man, this just brings me back to the good old days, as I would call it. You know, like the music is real music. It's not... I find that a lot of bands nowadays in these genres, they almost act like they're doing an algebraic equation. There's no thought put into it. It's like, just let's follow this formula. And thrash and metal and punk was never a formula, you know?
I absolutely agree with that.
And that's what I love. And listen, I love that we can cross those genres because back in the day, as you know, it was very hard to. Like DRI started it, kind of. Suicide started it. Slayer kind of started it. But you still couldn't go to shows. Like, I was a long hair, and I couldn't go to punk shows. And punks couldn't go to metal shows. And it was freaking stupid. So that's what I love about thrash, too. It's that attitude of putting punk and metal together.
That's exactly where my band come from. Like it's just me here. I'm Sean. I'm the singer, but the other boys are at work right now. So this is who you get. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you. When we play music, we usually just take this element of that punk rock, raw guitar, bass, drums, giver attitude, and all being metalheads, it just made sense to amalgamate it and put that together. So what we present or try to put across when we're writing music is just pure adrenaline. That's the one thing we go for.
I love it because that is what it's about. It is an adrenaline rush. And, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions about our genres of music that we're into. And it's kind of good. When I talk to some bands, we're like, yeah, let's keep them thinking that stuff, you know, but like it's just is one of the healthiest ways to get out your aggressions, and it's one of the best therapies there is. Like, forget all the drugs, you know, and the the pharmaceuticals. Just get in a pit, and that'll cure a lot of your problems.
It's therapy, man. I don't know if it's PC to say, but it almost prevents someone from punching another person in the face. It's a good outlet. It's a healthy way to just let it out.
No doubt. I love how you put it that way because that is the way I think about it. You know how many people are lucky I didn't punch them in the face because, you know, I just got done with a metal show. You know, it is true because, listen, I'll tell you a funny story. Like, I go on tour and cover a bunch of these festivals, and one time I had 2 festivals in one weekend. So I had one of my other people at the radio station go cover the other festival. She had never even been to a rock show, much less a metal music festival. She was a country girl.
So and she had
huh?
She had a good time.
Oh yeah. Well, I told her, I'm like, listen, she was all scared about it. I'm like, listen, you should be more scared going to your country shows because there's a bunch of rednecks getting drunk and beating the crap out of each other. I'm like, you go to a metal show and we're like one big family. And it seems like we're trying to kick each other's asses, but really we're just being like a friendly family of outsiders where nobody's an outsider. And I'm like, you're going to make new friends. You're going to do this. You're that. She comes back after the weekend. She's like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, it was so cool. And I got all these new friends and I have a new boyfriend now. And I have this new favorite band. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called Bring Me the Horizon. And I'm like, yeah, I think I heard of them. But see, that's the point. Like, she went in there with this kind of thought process of what we are and realized that we're the best therapy there is out there.
Yeah, that exists outside of the shows too. Like, walking down the street, if you see somebody wearing a Slayer t-shirt, you give the guy the eye, he looks back at you, there's this mutual understanding. But if I've noticed it, like, if one of the kids are walking and like there's a Taylor Swift t-shirt, that person doesn't really recognize the other person. It's just kind of a commercial thing where it's like, us people in the scene, we live it.
You couldn't have put it better. And I love that you picked the Slayer part, because really, if you walk by somebody with a Slayer shirt, like, I was just in Costa Rica for 3 months and they say pura vida for everything. Well, for Slayer, we just say to each other, fucking Slayer.
That's it. Yeah.
So I want to talk about the artwork on this new album, which is behind me. And I think I'm part of the crowd there. And tell me a little bit about your story behind the artwork of the album. I'm even going to move out of the way a little bit there.
All right, well, that's we reached out to Andrei Buzakov. He actually did some municipal waste. He's worked with Talks of Holocaust. Like, I don't know if you're in the scene, you recognize his artwork. But the concept for this is it's like a subway, and it's an entrance into the underworld. So as you're watching these people walk down those steps, they're losing these horns. They're gaining them. They're becoming the demons that they are. And the ones on the other side exiting into Earth, they're losing them. And it's supposed to signify like the evils all around us. So right up front, you have this guy being torn in both directions, being pulled in opposite directions. And what it represents to us is, at what cost would it take to keep your composure in today's kind of a world?
I love it. See, that's why I wanted you to tell a story, because I love the whole story about it, because it kind of blows my mind that the things we were singing about in the 80s are not only as relevant today, but even more so. It just kind of blows my mind that in all these years we haven't gotten any better, but we've gotten worse, which ties right into what you were just saying.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but there's still a few of us out there who've kept our roots.
Yeah, there you go. And it's funny that you mentioned municipal waste, because I'm looking at the album cover and I'm like, man, I recognize whoever that artist is. Like, that, it looked so familiar to me. And as soon as you said municipal waste, I'm like, that's where I recognize it from.
Yeah. He's a force to be reckoned with. This guy, he knows what he's doing. We reached out and we had a couple ideas that we traded back and forth. And at first, initially, we wanted to call this album Exorcist for Beer. It's one of the songs. It's a single off of this album. And we couldn't quite articulate what the story represented. So coming across this, it just made more sense to us to go forward with it. But man, he threw out idea after idea, and I'm so happy with that result.
And I do love the other name too. That sounds like a definite punk rock album name.
So it's a party anthem song. I highly recommend checking it out. And there's a story behind it too, if you want to hear it.
I do.
So my drummer Riley and his father and his brother were driving back from a fishing trip, and it's like an 8-hour drive. So Riley's little man is bitching about coal in the back seat. All he does is drink all day and smoke his bong and scream, and it's just metal music coming out of the basement, right? So pretty soon it turns into like Riley's writing all this down, right? And Cole's throwing in his 2 cents, and by the time they got back off this fishing trip, he gave me this piece of paper that was like a good portion of Exorcist for Beer. So I wrote it out. Like I made it fit to the way I sing and my singing style. But between everybody's lyrics, this is where we got this song from. And it's actually a song about it's about a little metalhead who can't quite exorcise the demon out of him. So the answer is to find an exorcist online. Well, they go on the dark web and they find this guy that makes their problems much worse than it actually is. In the end of it, we called him Little Johnny. He's off on tour with Black Dahlia Murder. The Exorcist gave up. Like, there was no help.
I love it.
Yeah, but to tie it all together, when we recorded the song in the studio, we brought in Riley's old man. We got Cole singing some backups on the lyrics. And we brought in Kenny to do a little skit for us. He's like, I don't know what to do. We had a little piece of paper ready for him, and just say this. He's like, I'm not reading a script that's already written. Riley's like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. He's like, well, how about this? You got 27 years practice of yelling at me? Come up with something. So before the song starts, you hear this like 30-second skit of the old man coming in, slamming the door, yelling at us to turn the noise down, not turn this place into a studio, go clean the fucking yard, and boom, the song starts.
I love it. Which song is it? I'm drawing a blank right now. The name that reminded me so much of a DRI song, and I'm trying to think of which one it is. It's one of the original ones. Same thing. The dad comes in.
Good tie guy.
Oh, man. So tell everybody how they can catch up with you guys on socials, on the web. Check out all your, tour dates, the newest songs. Check out the newest videos. And pre-save the album. Get the album when it drops. Buy merch, all that great stuff.
Well, you can definitely check us out on our Bandcamp account, Supermodel Taxidermy, bandcamp.com. We've got, all the same socials, Instagram, Facebook. We're on every platform out there. So wherever you're listening to, if you want to just have a peek, follow us. Our YouTube channel is another great source too. We just released a music video, another single on this album. It's called Lipstick. And you can have a good time checking that one out. It's actually a song written in homage to all the women in our scene. And nice. They're the ones that bring the guys to the show. They're the ones that are up front. So we really spotlighted this. And if you take a peek, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I love it. Everybody should check it out. It's a badass video. And do you have anything else you want to let the listeners know about that we haven't covered already?
We got a couple tours dates coming up on our tour for later this August, but we haven't quite fully released all the shows yet. We're going to end it up in Lethbridge, Alberta with the Ripcords on August 4th. Again, you can see all of this on our socials, but just from me to you guys, take care of each other. Keep safe.
I love it. Love your music. Thanks a lot for giving us great music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.